Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode with your girl Audrey Codner from GED Math Tutoring. How you doing? So, what we're actually going to do today is what I wanted to do yesterday, but then I got slammed with a couple calls and had to handle life. So what we're going to be working on today is area of compound shapes. So compound, we're looking at multiple shapes and we're just breaking them down into sections so we can find the area of the exact shape. So some of the areas is going to be pieces cutting out, and some of the areas we can just basically add together. So as you guys are coming on in, go ahead and take a look, and I'm going to zoom in so you can take a look at the different formulas for area. Well, hello, welcome on in. Thank you. So this is the part that gets a lot of people, because some of us, we remember some of the formulas for area, and some of us are like, you know what, I haven't seen this since I was a fetus, and now I'm trying to be reborn. So as we're taking a look, you can take a little screenshot if you wish. These are the formulas for the areas depending on the shape. So rectangle and, in a way, squares basically could have, and also parallelograms basically have the same area, base times height. But with squares, all four sides are exactly the same length. So instead of saying, okay, let me basically go base times height, I can basically say side squared. That's what the S squared means. Then for the triangle, if you know the formula of a rectangle, all you have to do is take half of that. So the base times height, some people know as length times width, and you're taking half. Because if you ever see a rectangle and then you draw a diagonal through it, you create two triangles. So if you want to find the area of a triangle, just have your base times height, divide by 2. Then you have your circle. The circle that's when you're going to deal with the lovely irrational number of pi. So it's not just 3.14. Remember, pi is never ending. It keeps going and going and going. When you do 3.14, you're basically rounding, okay, the volume or the value of pi. So circle is pi r squared, r meaning the radius. For those that don't know what a radius is a line from the center of the circle to a point on the circle. So that's halfway through. Now, if I want the full length all the way through with a circle, that's called the diameter. Then we have our lovely trapezoid, or some people from our lovely cousins from overseas will call it a trapezium. Okay, that's when you're basically adding the two bases. The bases is on top and the bottom. You're dividing that by 2, and then you're multiplying. That's what's right here. You're multiplying by the height. Okay, so these are the formulas that we're going to be touching on for today, here and there. So let's break stuff down. Hello, Big Al. How are you? Okay. Kendra, welcome in. Lynette, how are you? How's that book coming? Because guess what I did? I took a nap. So I'm nice and hyped. I still got one more client to go, but it's not until later. So I was like, screw it. I feel like I'm about to be the Walking Dead right now. So I took a lovely little nap. All right, so let's take a look at our first shape here. I know, naps are awesome. But, when it's after over an hour, that's kind of new. Debris Way, hello. Oh, you're new here. Pass your GED, yes. Okay, no problem. Thank you for showing up. Yes. Naps are wonderful. All right, so when we're looking at the compound shape, let me turn that down a little bit. I feel like I'm shouting. When you're looking at compound shapes, this is really going to be good for people that are taking the ASVAB, okay? When you start seeing things like this and they say find the area, you're basically in the 60s, I would say late 50s, early 60s when it comes to the score. So you're doing really good. All right, but if they say find the volume of the composite figure, then you're really doing good. You're like past the 70s. You're getting like mid 70s, close to the 80s. So just to kind of give you like an idea. So what's happening here for us to find the area of this shape? What we have here is basically two shapes in one. So if we may, I have basically like two rectangles that's happening here. So if I could probably cut it off right about here. Okay, I could cut it off over here if I wanted to. I can cut it off here, but all I know is I have two shapes here, and I'm finding the area for each of these shapes. Well, both of these shapes are rectangles. So this side is going to be 20. Although they say the whole length of this side is 30, but from here to here is 20. So that means from here to here has to be 10. Because 10 plus 20 gives me that full length of 30. Okay? They're saying from here to here is 7. That means over here is also 7. From here to here. But if we wanted to find the whole thing, this whole thing, if I'm looking at this rectangle, is going to match up with my 25. And then we already found from here to here, which is 10. I'm going to put it over here because my tape is like right there. All right. So now all we're doing is finding the area of two spots. So let me cover this up so it won't get too overwhelming. All right, so we're going to ignore this, but we're going to focus on this. So area of a rectangle. Remember, the area of a rectangle is your base times height, or some of us know it as length times width, and we all still get confused which is the length and which is the width, right? But no matter what, you're taking these two numbers and you're going to multiply them. All right, so I basically have we could say my base is 20, and that's the best thing about multiplication. They're commutative. Okay, so you have your 20 times 7. So 20 times 7, your area is going to equal 140. Now, this is the part we're going to do. It's not just feet. Since it's area, it's going to be square feet. Okay, just knowing this unit. And say that you get something like this on a multiple choice question. Take a look at the units, because sometimes they might just slip just a foot in there, or there'll be a foot square, and that will be the difference. So if you can take a look and see feet square, and it says 140, that's your answer. Click it, move on. But this is only part. This is what this rectangle is. Now, we're going to cover up and we're going to focus on this one. So remember, it's going to be your 10 feet times your 25 feet. So if we're looking for the area, you have your 10 times 25 or 25 times 10. Remember, it's commutative. And that will give me my 250 squared feet. All right, so now that we have both of the areas, all we have to do is just add those two bad boys together. So 250 plus my 140, and that will give me 390 squared feet. This will be your final answer. Okay. Hey, Wendy. There you go. Thanks for following along, guys. Appreciate it. Okay. So sometimes you're like, all right, once you understand what the formula is, then you can like basically take it to the next step. So let me see if I come over here and because I got a whole slew of them. Okay, so let me slide this bad boy over, and I'm gonna put this one here. Just gonna try to squeeze everything on in, because as you all know, book 6 is almost done. So we're trying to squeeze it all in there. Okay, and while you're here, it makes you laugh. Yes. So the reason why I have these is like a mood tracker. So if you're a teacher, maybe you're a homeschool parent, and you want to know what kind of mood your students are in when they're doing a lesson. Because I know when I used to do my observation, the one question that my principal or assistant principal will always ask, how do you know that they're learning it? Like I'm supposed to be a mind reader, right? And after I've noticed that I used to have a lot of kids, especially first period's always hard, that they were just like, well, how do I know that my kids are okay? Maybe they had a spat with their parents, or maybe they had some kind of incident with their siblings, or they're usually being bullied. So I just kind of like, all right, that's what I really motivated me to do the things. It's easy for kids just to circle. Then you ask them like, how you doing? And usually what you get, fine, good, great, meh, yeah. So like, that's why I did like before the lesson, if I could slide this over. So I do it before the lesson, just a quick check. Then we have during the lesson, how we're doing. And then after the lesson. Oops. Clicking on stuff. All right. So again, we got 2 things going on here. Let me see if I can enlarge a little bit. So hopefully you can see that we have 2 shapes. What kind of 2 shapes do we have? If you want to put that in the chat, that would be amazeballs. It's like, what do you see? Okay, you see a triangle and a rectangle. Thanks, Kiss. Okay, no llama drama, say a triangle. Himalayan mountain, H and H. Okay, so triangle, rectangle, netta, ball out. Okay, a square and a triangle. Okay, we see a triangle, HB. Okay, so, yep, we're seeing a triangle, so let's create it. Now, some people are saying a rectangle, some people are saying a square. Now, and I know it's kind of interesting to see, so I'm going to kind of do a little bit of rotating. Or from here, they're saying from here to here is 9 feet. Okay, so I know it looks like a 6, but remember, they always put the units at the end, so that's 9 feet. Over here, it's a little upside down. So let me turn it for you. Maybe. Okay, so now that is telling me 6 feet. Okay, so 6 feet wide. So we are not looking at a square, we're actually looking at a rectangle. Because if this is 6 feet, that means this down here, or right here, is also going to be 6 feet. But they're also giving me the height of it. So the whole thing is going to be 14. But if we're saying from here to here is 9, what do you think from here up here is going to be? So Cap is saying the roof is 5 feet. Do we agree? Yes, 5. Okay, good. Yes, good. So we're saying from here to here, this is going to be 5 feet. All right. So we can easily get the area of our rectangle now that we see it. Okay. So you have your 6 times 9, which gives me what? Let me change pen colors so we can see it a little bit better. All right. Hey, Amler, how are you? Good, Neta. Good, No Llama. Good, Anna. Quiet, cool. What did I miss? Big Al. Eve. Breeway. Good. With the 54. Real ugly. Aw, change that. Because you're probably not really ugly. The things that you guys make you sing. You are what you name yourself. Good. So with the 54, awesome. Oh, thank you. All right. So yes. Is it Woo? Woobalum? All right. Awesome. Haven't seen this in a minute. I know, right? Bringing it on back. Just like hot pants. So now we know that the area of this rectangle is going to be 45 feet, squared feet. Now, let me cover. Let's focus on the triangle. So if we recall, for a triangle, let's see if I can squeeze it in this area. So the area of a triangle, that's basically your base times height divided by 2. Okay? Our entire base is going to be 6. Our height is 5, and we found that, divided by 2. Now, we can solve this one of two ways. You can either multiply the 6 and the 5, then divide by 2, or since we got multiplication here, and this is division, they're inverses of each other, couldn't we just cancel out the 6 and the 2? Because 6 divided by 2 will give me 3. Then 3 times 5 will give me my 15. And it will be your 15 squared feet. Okay. Either way, you're gonna get 15. Not really, Joy, because I do that. As long as you understand that the feet is being squared, yeah, that's fine. How did I get 5? Good question. So, let's see if I can show it. Okay, so they're saying this entire height is 14, right? From here to here, they said it was 9. So if I take that 14 minus, get rid of the 9, I'm going to have 5 left. Okay? All right, no problem, Minnie. How do they cancel out? Through division. So 6 divided by 2, that gives me 3. That gives me a 1. Okay? 3 times 5 gives me 15 over 1, which is just simply 15. Because anything divided by 1 is itself. Okay? Not a problem. Yep. And Breeway, guess what? You could do that. You can multiply the 6 and the 5 and get 30. And then divide by 2 to get your 15. Because remember, you get more than one way. There's more than one way to get your answer. Okay? The years of having, because I've had some professors, I've had classroom teachers, they're just like, there's only one way. Do it my way. But how can you say do it your way? 1, you didn't invent it. That's just me. 2, the teacher that I had prior to you told me another way. So what's going on? So after a while, it took me a minute, but I kind of figured it out. All right. So while I am setting up the next one, if you guys can start tapping, I will greatly appreciate it. Oh, you have been tapping. I'm so sorry. If you guys can continue to tap, I would greatly appreciate that. And then I'm going to set up, I'm going to see if I can do the next 2. And then I'm going to kind of leave you guys alone a little bit and just to see how you can do. Now, the reason why I get on TikTok is 1, to empower people with their math. I was a former classroom teacher. And now I'm an online math tutor. Love doing what I do. Really starting to expand my reach when it comes to regions. I tutor 7 days a week. So that was the reason why I had to close out yesterday, because I don't know. I think like everybody's teacher was giving a test today. And they're like, I need to go over my review. I'm like, dude, did you just find out that you had a test today? No. Kids, I don't know. I don't know. They love doing things last minute. Makes you cray cray. But anyhow. So that's why I wasn't here yesterday. I do apologize. But I'm here. So if anything, what are we working on today? Hey, Ja. We are working on compound figures. So we're looking at multiple shapes and trying to figure out the area of each of the shapes. Right now, I'm just setting things up. Buying time as I set things up. Because sometimes I don't know how much space I'm going to need. So, I don't want to just be like, oh yeah, tape everything in. And I'm like, I need some room. All right. Okay, so we're going to work on this lovely one. Thank you so much for the tapping. I appreciate it. Missed you? No, I know. And that's why, like now, if you notice, Big Al and plus everybody, I used to put a schedule, and I had a schedule up on my platform. I had to take it down because I felt bad. Like almost every time people are like rearranging their schedules, and I'm like, I gotta cancel because I have to go and get people that are going to pay me. I hate to say it that way, but hey, it's something called, I don't want to be homeless. It's going to be hard for me to do this at this hour because anyone with free Wi-Fi, most of the places are starting to close up right now. So, got to keep things going. Yeah, right? I know. So, this is why I try to do things. Okay, so what do we got here? This is a symbol that we see all the time. And I know once we have today's lessons, you're going to be looking at shapes and signs, all kinds of different now. Yeah, I'm not. I'm in Maryland, sorry. But I do tutor. I do have one-to-one tutor, but I do it online. Yep, we got an arrow. All right. All right, so we got an arrow. We have our triangle and a square. Are we sure that it's a square? Because some of you guys were telling me square last time. I trust you. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's go ahead and separate. All right. So I do have a triangle right here. This 2 feet goes from here to here. This 2 feet goes from here to here. But then down here for the base, we have 6 feet and 6 feet. So you guys are correct. That is a square. Okay, because if this side's going to be 6, that means this side's going to be 6. If this side's going to be 6, that means this side is going to be 6. So let me write this 6 feet right here because we're going to need that for a little bit later. So we can find the area of this base. So let me cover up the top. Now, you can do base times height. That's perfectly fine, or length times width, whatever you want to call it. Or you can do what's called side squared, because this side is going to be the same as that side. Whatever makes it stick in order for you to be successful in the assessment, do it, my babies, do it. So no matter what, my area is going to be 36 squared feet, or feet squared. Okay, so that's going to be the area of that one. All right. Okay, so remember, so you got 12 because you added. Remember, area, you multiply. Perimeter is when you add. Okay? Okay, good. Because if I add the perimeter, I would get 12 and 12, which gives me 24. That's the perimeter. Area, you do multiplication. Okay. Yep. And the perimeter will be 24, not 12. Exactly. There we go. Look at all these people out here. Okay, so we figured out our area for the square. Now, slide. We need to find our area of our triangle. So they gave us the height, which was so nice of them, for 12 feet. But we need our base. What is our base? Okay, no llama saying 10. Is it Layla saying 10? Rich 10, Ja 10, Wa 10, user 94 10, Reese 10, Stargate, hey Stargate, 12. Okay, the triangle's base times height and taking a half. Yes, Jack, good job. Okay, Big Al 10, half of our height. Okay, Amanda 10. All right, good. Now we're starting to repeat. The reason why people are getting 10, just in case those are not adding, we have 2 plus 6 plus 2. So this whole entire base here is going to be 10. So now we want to find our area. So the area is basically going to be our base times height divided by 2. No matter what kind of triangle we have, it's always going to be the same thing. So let me take this over here since I got a little bit of room. So our base is 10. Our height is 12. And we divide it by 2. All right. So again, you can multiply the 10 and the 12, get 120, and then divide it by 2 to get your 60, which I forgot who kept saying it over and over again. It was like 60, 60, 60. Every time. Now we're just being vulgar. Yeah. One moment, everyone. One moment. I'll be right with you in a second. Okay. Okay. So sorry. Had to handle something. And I think you guys know what I mean. All right. So we can do one of two things. So we could, as I said, multiply 10 and 12 and then divide it by 2 to get your 60. Or you can do 12 divided by 2, which gives me 6. And then 10 times 6 gives me 60. Or you could have done 10 divided by 2 to give you 5, and 5 times 12 gives you 60. No matter what, your area is going to be 60 squared feet. Okay, so that's for the triangle. So now we need to put it all together because we want to find the area of the whole arrow. So we have 60 plus that 36. That means the area, yeah, we got options. Now the area will give me 96 squared feet. This is your official answer. And trust me, as you do this, they will have 36 as one of the options. They will have 60 as one of the options. Just don't forget, once you find your two areas, add them up. Okay, so you can get your official answer. All right. All right. All right. Good. All right. Ready for the next one? Thank you so much for the coming in and the tapping. Ooh, what do we got here? Okay. We'll pass. Nope. You can't pass. So we're saying a triangle in the circle, but is it a full circle? An upside down ice cream cone? All right. Okay. Semicircle. Okay, we got ourselves like a semicircle. So we have half of a circle. So there's two things, really three things kind of happening here. Okay. All right. Now remember, we're not finding volume. We are basically just looking at areas of each of the things. So it's great that we're like, hey, cone, we could do a cone. True. But right now we're not looking at the volumes, but I love how we're figuring it out. So they're giving us different things. So one thing that they're giving us is our diameter. Okay, from here to here is 10 inches. Okay, so they're giving us the whole entire base of our triangle. So we can actually calculate that bad boy out really quickly. So let me slide this over just a hair. I'm like on the edge of my desk. I just realized, I'm like, why am I like so into the math right now? All right. Okay. So we know this whole thing is going to be 10 inches. So we know our area because we just did it. It's our base times our height divided by 2. Okay, so we know that our base is 10. Our height, which they're giving us, is 11 divided by 2. What's my area? Okay, real ugly. I'm just going to call you RU. For now on. And saying 55. Okay, Kaya, how are you? Welcome back. 55, NYJE. 55, Caribbean Queen, how are you? 55. Now, user 1187, do not forget to divide by 2. You gave me my numerator. Don't forget to divide by 2. Endron, 55. Endron, Big Al, No Llama, J Cone, Imari. Are all saying 55. Miss Melly is saying 55. Good. So we could, since we got 10 to 2, we can say 10 divided by 2 will give me my 5. 5 times 11 will give me my 55. And 55 squared inches. Okay, so that's going to be for the cone. All right, now sliding up. So now we have a semicircle. So we know the area of a circle, and just in case we're not sure, I'm going to write it down anyway. So the area of the circle is your pi r squared. Okay. So pi is always associated with circles, okay? It's not just 3.14. There's a whole bunch. You're just rounding. We don't want to round right now. But we're looking for our radius. What they gave us is called the diameter. So notice it's a line or a segment that goes through the center of the circle and it's hitting at 2 points on the circle. Okay, if it's going through, it's almost like a chord is another term, but this one goes through the center of the circle. So our diameter, we need our radius. Our radius is halfway. So radius starts from the center of the circle to the end. So we need half of that. Yes, which is my 5. Good. All right, so we're looking at area is my pi. My radius is now going to be 5, and we're going to square that. Okay? But this is going to give us the whole entire circle. We don't want the whole entire circle. We only want half of it. So that means, yes, Curtis, there we go. If we can, we got our 25 pi, but we're going to divide it by 2. And the reason why we're dividing by 2 is we're not looking at a full circle. We're only looking at half of it. Okay, so we're not looking at a full circle, we're looking at half. Where the 25 came from? 5 squared. It's not 10. Stop it. Okay? This 2, its job is to tell the base how many times it's going to multiply itself. So 5 squared is the equivalent of 5 times 5. 5 times 5 gives us our 25. Now pi, if I want the exact measurement, I want to keep it in terms of pi. Now, if you read a question and they say use 3.14 as pi, that's when you do the substitution. That means you're finding the approximate answer. But if they want the exact answer, you're going to see answers with pi in it. All right. So 25 and 2, there's only thing that they both have in common is 1. So I'm going to leave it like this. And you're like, wait, Audrey, so how are we going to add those two together? Just like this. If they want the exact answer, our area is going to be 55 plus 25 pi over 2, and it's squared inches. And you're probably saying, can we do that? Yes, you can, if they want the exact answer. And I know for ASVAB, you're probably going to see more of this. If you ever get a situation like this, more of the exact, because you can't use a calculator for the test. Unless they say, give us in 3.14. Then, let me show you that. So if we're doing it in 3.14, that means we're going to have our 55 plus 25 times 3.14 divided by 2. Okay, so this is when you're going to have to do your multiplication off to the side. So we have our 3.14 times 25. I know there's an X there. I know. Okay, bringing back the old school. 4 and 5, that gives me 20. Carry the 2. 5 times 1 gives me 5 plus 2, 7. 5 times 3 gives me 15. Now we're going to repeat the process again. We don't have anything for the ones, so they got a 0. 2 times 4 gives me 8. 2 times 1 gives me 2. And 2 times 3 gives me 6. Now, when we're multiplying with a decimal, this has 2 decimal places. This has 0 decimal place. That means my answer needs to be in 2 decimal places because 2 plus 0 gives me 2. All right. So we have our 0. We have our 5, carry the 1. So that gives us our 8. And 6 and 1 gives us our 7. Starting at the end, we're going to represent our 2 decimal places. Here's 1. Here's 2. Decimal place goes between the 7 and the 8. Now, we got to divide this answer by 2. What? I know. So we have our 2 divided by this answer, 7850. Okay, so that decimal place is starting here. It's going up here. How many 2's can go into 7? 3 of them. Okay. How many 2's can go into 8? 4 of them. Okay, so we got our 1, 0. Now, how many zeros got a 4? Hold on. This should be an 8. I'm doing a little too much. I'm doing too much. I'm sorry, everybody. I'm doing too much. So we got a 6, we got a 1. Then this will be 18. And now then, how many 2's can go into 18? This should be a 9, because now it makes sense. So, bring down our 5. Okay, so this should be a 2, and that should be a 5. 4, 1, 0, and the 5. Okay, so our official answer is going to be 39.25 squared inches. So if they want the approximate, notice I'm going to do my approximation wave. I got my 39.25 squared inches. Okay, so this is the approximate. I know. Majority of the time, most of the time, you're going to see this. But if they want you to do the calculations, you're going to do that for the approximate answer. Only 4. Until you switch the numbers. Yep. That's a lot of work. Yep. See, that's what happens when you have to take a test and you can't use a calculator. Okay? This is what you're putting on if they give you scrap paper, but majority of the times they do laminated paper so they can give you a dry erase marker. Okay. All right. Oh, yeah. Forgot about the 55, didn't I? Plus, thank you. I was like, that seems weird. All right, so bring down the 0.25. Bring down my inches squared. That gives me my 14. Carry the 1, so it's 94.25. Thank you. Yep, thank you. Yep, 94.25. That's my official answer for the approximate. Okay. Whew. I know, that was exhausting. All right. So, that's when we can see the whole entire thing. So what we're going to do next is what happens if we pull topic out. You're like, what? Okay. You're going to see it in a moment. Let me situate all this and let me put an example up. All right. Now, I'm going to do a couple of these. Sometimes they do something like this, and there's two other ones that I'm going to show you, which you will actually see on the assessment. Okay. Thank you. Is this considered geometry? Yes. Yes. Yep. So I'm finally switching out. Okay. All right. So, okay. So, taking a look. The whole thing is a triangle. But it looks like a piece of it is cut out. So I know when people are like, when am I ever going to use this in real life? Well, I kind of like this. It reminds me of cake because I like cake. That's why I have 3 chins. But I like cake. And you ever know, like, there's so many cake designs that are so elaborate. And they really want to know how much space with the area I have, but we're taking a big chunk out. So inside here, we want to find the area of this piece, but then we also want to find the area of the whole thing. So we have a triangle and we have a square. So the area, remember, is my side square. And how I know it's a square, because this side is 8 yards and this side is 8 yards. So if this is going to be 8 yards, that means this is going to be 8 yards. And if here is 8 yards, that means down here is 8 yards. Okay? So my area of this blank space, okay, for all you Swifties out there, we have how many? Good. We have 64 this way. So 64 squared yards. Okay, so that's coming out. Now, what's the area of my triangle? So it's your base times height over 2. Okay. I appreciate that, user. I know. All right. Okay, so we're going to calculate it. So my full base is 15. My height, which they gave us, is 10. And we're going to divide by 2. Okay, BH, base times height. Okay, so Johnny, we got our 150, good, but don't forget, and also Big Al, don't forget to divide by 2. Okay. All right, so we got our 75s. Here you go. Because if I wanted to, I could do 10 divided by 2. That will give me 5. And then 15 times 5, that will give me my 75. And then this is square yards. All right. Yep, base times height. So now, what we did before, I'm going to flip for a second. What we did before when we were trying to find the arrow, okay, we found the base, the area of the triangle, we found the area of the base here, and what we did was we add them together. What do you think we're going to do here? We found the area of the whole triangle, we found the area of this square. What do you think we're going to do? Justin's saying subtract. Caribbean Queen, subtract. Yes. Marva Lee, subtract. Johnny, subtract. Good. Nina, subtract. That's it. Okay, Minnie, subtract. User is giving me my answer. Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take the whole thing, which is the 75, and minus that blank space, which is 64, which gives you 11 squared yards. Okay, so that is going to be the area of what's in gray. Now, for people that are taking the praxis, okay, trying to become a teacher, you're going to see problems like this, maybe one, maybe two, not too many. But when they give you something like this and they said, all right, find what's left in gray, you're doing the subtraction. Okay, you're finding the area of the missing piece, you find the area of the whole thing, and you're doing subtraction. Right? And they did with a circle. Yep, they do it in SAT as well. So it's very similar to, if I'm going to slide over, very similar to this one. And sometimes they may show it in a picture, but be prepared when they put it in a word problem. That's why I like to tell you guys, don't freak out about word problems. Okay? Don't freak out about it. If you ever see anything they describe, oh, there's a pie or there's a cake, a round cake with a diameter of 16 inches, but there was a piece taken out right from the center of it. Okay? How much cake is left over? That's what they're describing for something like this. Okay? Like, who takes a piece out of the center of the cake? Who's diabolical like that? Me. If it's my birthday cake, let me do what I want to do. If I want to cut in the middle, I'm going to cut in the middle. No, that's just being crazy. All right. So, two shapes that they're giving us. They're giving us a rectangle and they're giving us a circle. So we need to find two areas. In 10th grade, scared out of your mind? What are you scared out of your mind for? Okay, Corgi, why are you scared out of your mind? Hey, Janice, how are you? Okay, yes. So, breaking it on down. I think we just add so much good. All right, well, go ahead, Mandy. Manda, sorry. All right, so we can get the area of the circle. This time it's a full circle, so we don't have to divide by 2. All right, only with the semicircles we do that, okay? Now, if we want to find the whole thing, so we're looking at the area of the circle, which is pi r squared. They're giving us the radius. Okay, they're giving us the diameter. We need the radius. What is the radius? Okay. Oh, I appreciate you too. Not a problem. Good. Justin saying is 8. Caribbean Queen 8. Rachel 8. Janice 8, Big Al 8, Marvin Lee 8, okay, Kaya 8, good. Okay, remember, a radius is half of the diameter. So if the whole thing is 16, Half of 16 is going to be 8. Now, we need to square that. So 16 squared is not 16, okay? It's not 8 times 2. It's 8 to the second power. That means we're writing this base of 8 2 times, and we're multiplying it. So 8 times 8 gives us 64. All right? Now, that is the exact answer. If they want the approximate, let's say that they want us to do 64 times 3.14, which is the famous representation of it. What would I get for my area? Okay, all right, my 007 is saying 200.96. Okay, 22 sevens, 200.96, 27. Okay, 200.96. So I'm going to use my approximate because I forgot we are rounding. So let's say my 200.96. Okay, so we had the exact and we have the approximate. Now, we need to figure out the area of our rectangle. What is the area of my rectangle? Okay, so Kaya and Janice both saying 35. Johnny, 35. Yep, base times height. Yep. So we got 35, 35, 35s. Justin with the 35. Key with 35. Caribbean Queen, 35. Marvella, 35. Big L, 35. Good. All right. My nails bother you? Well, then you want my Cash App so you can help me out? So you have your 35. Because then there won't be any problems. So make sure it's squared inches. All right. Okay. Let's go ahead. There you go, right there. If you want me to wear gel's expensive. So like 60 will work. 60 will work. Yes. You have any questions about that has square roots? No. All right. So this time we can do the approximate or we can do the exact. So let's do the exact first. So this time, we're not adding those two together. We're actually going to subtract. But remember, you want to go with the whole thing first. So that's where that 64 pi comes in, minus what that rectangle's area is, which is 35. And then you have your squared inches. This is how you represent your answer if they're talking exact. Now, if we were doing approximate, the whole thing, remember, was roughly 296 hundredths. And we're going to subtract 35 from it. Okay. Yes. Right. second. Gotta do this lovely puzzle piece. All right. So then, yes, Johnny, yes. So Sweet Lou, don't forget about the 0.96. Yes, Big Al, good. So we got our 5. We know we got our 0.96. That just comes on down because the 35 is a whole number. So then this will be a 9, so that's 6, and this is a 1. So this will be my squared inches. Okay. All right. Okay. So it all depends. It depends on what's happening. Okay. But for right now, we're already rounded because we use 3.14. So it's already rounded. You don't want to round over round. All right. Okay, one more that I've seen a lot of. And then we are done for today. Okay. Okay, with square root answers, no, Justin. I don't do advanced stuff. I don't know why you keep asking. Okay. Is this trig? No, it's not. It's geometry. Yep, but I'm not doing square roots. All right. Now, this you have definitely seen in an exam here or there. Okay. A lot of people see it as, oh, it's that part of the basketball court. You know, this is the free throw line. Okay, normally a basket will be somewhere around here. All right, so it could be a design for a park if they're doing an outside court, or if someone's trying to redesign a court, or maybe even a coach is trying to do a little bit of something. All right. Okay, that's fine. So this is what we're going to do. We're seeing two shapes here. What are the two shapes? Put it in the chat. What are the two shapes? Okay, so we got a semicircle and a rectangle. A rectangle, semicircle, semicircle, rectangle. Good. A rec and a semicircle. Good. Nice. Okay. So let's find the area of the rectangle first, because that's predominantly what's happening here. So what's 14 times 4? Finish it out. Okay. 007 is saying 56. I know you didn't have the 7. 49.72. So you got 14 times 4. Go ahead. Jan says 56. Marvelli saying 56. Justin 56. I don't know what that is. Say 56. Okay. So Big Al 56. All right, so all we're doing is multiplying the 14 and the 4. And we have the area that equals our 56. 56 squared feet. Okay, so that's the rectangle. Now we need to do the semicircle. What's our radius? Because remember, it's going to be area times pi r squared. I don't know why we do pi r squared, because then we have to switch it around. I never understood that. But what's our radius? Good, we're saying our 2's. Awesome. Yep. So that will be for a full circle. They're saying that this side is 4 feet. That means this side is going to be 4 feet. That gives me a diameter. So half of 4 is going to be 2 feet. Okay, so if we square that, we're going to have 4 pi. But again, that represents the area of an entire circle. We only want half of it. So we're going to divide by 2. So 4 pi divided by 2 divided by 2. So 4 pi divided by 2, that will give me 2 pi squared feet if I'm looking for the exact answer. Okay, if I'm looking for the exact answer. But if they say to replace the pi with 3.14, we need to multiply it, all right? So 2 pi, replace the pi with 3.14. Okay, we're still, well, this time we're going with approximation because we're rounding pi. What do we get? $6.28, good, 6.28. 6.28. All right. Okay, so this is my approximate. All right. So, good. We need, because this is not our final answer. Okay, so this is not our final answer. Because remember, if we take a look at the original shape, this semicircle is a chunk. Think about people that are baking sheet cakes and they want to do a design, but they need to cut this part out. Okay, so that means if I go with my exact, that means I'm taking the whole thing, which is my 56, and then I'm going to subtract what we got for the exact area for the semicircle, which is 2 pi. And this is going to be squared feet. Okay, so that is what the exact answer is going to look like, because we have the whole thing minus the part that's missing. Okay, that's how you find the area of what's left over. But if we're going with the approximate, because again, it all depends on what's actually being shown. You have your 56 minus your 6.28. Okay. And what would that give me? Okay, football, thank you, 49.72. Big Al, 49.72. Nice. Okay. Is that fine? If they're looking for approximate, they want decimals. All right, so remember, you have your 56, and you're subtracting your 6.28. That means, whoops, we gotta put those fillers of zeros in there. Okay, so we're gonna borrow from the 6, make it a 5, make that a 10, borrow from the 10, make that a 9, then we have a 10. 10 minus 8 gives me 2. 9 minus 2 gives me 7. Okay, can't do anything with the 5 and the 6. Borrow from this 5, give it a 4. Okay, bring down my decimal, because remember, when you're subtracting, your decimals need to line up. Adding and subtracting, you line up the decimals. Multiplying, you find out how many spaces you need. Okay, so then 15 minus 6, got my 9, and then I got my 4. All right, so it'll be 49.72 squared feet. And I keep forgetting about my approximate. All right, so either you have the exact or the approximate. Okay, questions? Okay. The one above. What about the one above? This. The one above this. What about the one above this? Okay, you say the one above this, not that one. Can it be factored? No, because this is representing one number. We're not factoring. That's why it's parentheses around it, because it's representing a number. If you do that, if you do that, would it be wrong? If you factor, would it be wrong? Yes. Because you're trying to separate a number that doesn't need to be separated. Okay. Yep, can't do that. Because they're not two separate numbers. They're representing one number. Okay, no problem. All right, everyone. So that is all that we have for today. Okay, so going with the composition. So remember, instead of freaking out and looking at it as one big number or one big shape, break it up into two. Find the area of both of them and add them together if it looks like this. But if there is a chunk missing out of it, okay, figure out what the areas of both of those spaces are and subtract. So missing, subtract, blended together, add. All right, so almost done with book 6. So I'm looking at all of my notes. If you're ever in need of a math tutor, I am available. Another thing, if you're looking for a math notebook and you're looking for a place to get some extra examples with the factor chart and some areas that just to help you remember bits and pieces. Okay, this one is for, this looks familiar, because we did this one and we did a little bit of this. This one is for like Algebra 1 and Algebra. So like a lot of the keys, a lot of information. So we even talked a little bit about the area and perimeter. So we even had those. So we talked about a couple of these. But just as like a reminder, so if you would like to have a notebook, they are available for purchase. Okay, what I do is I just basically come in and I do a whole bunch of notes. There is like 100 of these type of pages. You have the dot grid on one side and you have a traditional grid on the other side to give you a little bit of space, especially to help you out when you're doing your graphing. Yeah, because I don't know about you, but graphing when it's kind of uneven, it is so hard. To kind of like have an even graph, like say something like this. Like if you did it on regular composition notebook paper, at least I have the dots to kind of give me even spacing. And also I have the dots to actually make my points a lot clearer as well. So, and then of course, a lot of people, you got grid paper on this side, you know, just in case you need to do some kind of graphing on one side, you can do that. All right. Okay. So if you would like to purchase, you can. I have one for Algebra 1, and then I have this one for Algebra 2. The reason why Algebra 2 and Calculus, because I have like more of a support. So we talk about complex numbers. We do have some of the stuff in the other Algebra 1, but we have the logarithmic and exponentials. Then we have acceleration and velocity that's being used, the conic sections, the unit circle. That's another thing that is usually used for that. The trig identities, all of the trig identities, and especially the Pythagorean theorem and the trig. But then I have my sine and my cosines, which is at the bottom, and then my sine and cosine rules if I want to find the sides or angles. And last but not least, Pascal's triangle in the very back. So that is going to be for the math notebook. But if you're a lefty, I also got you. So this one's my example of my lefty book. So you get the same, this is for Algebra 1, the same concepts, but I put it in the design for just my lefties. So you're not being left out. All right. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. How often do I go live? I go live every day except for yesterday. It was all kinds of cray-cray. Yes, I will, Mickey. I will. So sometimes it's like mostly in the evenings, except for the weekends. I do that in the afternoons. But again, if you need me, if you want copies of my notes, right now I have books 1 through 5. And all it is just copies of all the notes that I do on my lives. And if you notice, there's a QR code. So if you scan the QR code, it will take you exactly to the recording of these notes. And you can just use this to follow along, get a little clarification. Sometimes I write the steps down. So it's like on both sides. And I just randomly. So it's not very consistent, meaning that, one is all of slope and one is all of this. It's just like my videos. 1 minute I'm doing like Pythagorean's theorem. Next minute I'm breaking down radicals. Okay. So all of them are here, but if you want something to help you guidance, I noticed a couple homeschool parents actually purchased them, to support their kids, because there's certain math that you guys haven't seen, and it's hard for you to break it down to the kids. So let me break it down for you, right? So it's kind of looking that book 6 is almost done, and it will be done this week because of the things I'm doing. And you're like, when is book 6 going to be done? Well, we're currently working on book 6. So all these lovely notes that's going to be here, okay, will be my book 6. And I have a feeling that book 6 is probably going to be my final book for the Audrey's Notes series. Now, if you're new here and you're like, man, I wish I could watch this again, you can. All right, this is where you go. Go ahead and screenshot that. I'm going to take that down in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, make sure you guys hit all of this, especially this part. Okay, we're like 122 people away from 1,000. What is going on? And I'm thinking about also going live in there for my followers. Just be on the lookout on some of the posts so I can see like what exactly you want me to go live with. But at the same time, we have some service if you want private or small group tutoring, and maybe you're trying to get yourself ready for the ASVAB, the GED, and you're just like, I don't want to take it until like another few months, and you want to have some kind of guidance. I do have courses. If you're taking the T's or the HESI, definitely look at the Foundations to Algebra. And the same thing with Praxis. If anyone's taking like elementary school Praxis, Foundation to Algebra will be the best course for you as well. All right, so you can either go here, okay, it's logged into, you can go there for that, for the courses. And if you're interested in the books, you can go here. It's also on the Big A. The Big A is not Big Al, but Big A is, the rainforest, the brown box with the smile on it. It's there as well. All right. Okay. What was the paper? What do you mean? What was the paper? Yep. Just telling people to go to the channel. So here, all of because I started doing this since February 2nd, so all of my videos are there. Okay, every single one of them. All right, so if we can get some of you guys going here, it's a free subscription, so don't worry about it. And if you want to know when I go live here, hey, be a fan. Hit that orange heart. I think it's a cost of like 1 coin, which is like, what, a penny? So you can get notifications of when I go live. And then all you have to do is just check in when you come onto the lives. You do not have to be a super fan. Okay. Yes. Thank you, Just Me. Appreciate it. So if you need any kind of assistance, do not hesitate. If you're like, I don't know what I should buy, or can I get a little more detail? Just message me, okay? I'd rather you message me and we talk and figure out what will be the best thing for you than you buy something and then you have regret. I never want you to ever have regret. I'm not here just to take your money. I mean, I know I'm really good at what I do. Hopefully you see that here on the lives. So for the most part, I really want to make sure that I'm helping you get over that hump, get over that fear of mathematics, because you can do it. Okay, if I can do it, hell, everybody can do it. Okay, no problem, Big Al. Oh, thanks, Aries. Yes. Thank you. I try. All I do is I try to break down for you guys. Okay. Break concepts down, not break like physically down. I'm having an emotional crisis. All right, so I'm going to end right now. What's happening tomorrow? What is tomorrow? Tomorrow is Thursday. Can you believe it? Can you believe tomorrow is the 9th? I should be here at 6:30, and I think I'm going to be doing radicals. Simplifying radicals. So this is really going to test us with our multiplication ability. And then, that's what I'm going to be doing on Thursday. And then I'm going to be doing either one of those like algebra reviews on Friday. Okay. Just to give you an idea. All right. So have an amazing day or amazing evening. I will catch you guys tomorrow on the flip side. So be great to yourself, please. Love you. Bye.